I always forget to turn off the mute button. I'm a bit of an idiot. But hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tartar Zone's Movie Zone. Yeah, we're here, we're back. And I've put a poll up on Twitter. So if you want to vote in that, I've given 4 movie choices there, sci fi movies. You have a choice between Apollo 13, Sphere, Event Horizon, or The Martian. So if you haven't voted, the poll is on Twitter. Vote away. But we're here to do, obviously, on this channel, as you know, myself and the guests that I'm bringing on tonight are huge fans, and actually, we've watched nearly every movie. Now we still have a few Titanic movies to go through, which I'm sure throughout the year we will get to. But as you know, we're fascinated by the Titanic, and let's be honest, we've avoided this movie on purpose. Well, I have anyway, because it's a 3 hour epic. But I think the time is right to do this movie now. I have to admit, at the time, it was a huge movie. It was absolutely huge at the time. I remember when the VHS came out. I mean, it was sold out. It was the biggest movie, if not the biggest movie at the time. So, people will even though it was the biggest movie at the time, there were still debates about this movie, which there always going to be. Now, I don't like the romance element to this movie, but the rest of it, I'm a fan. Look, I like the movie. I don't hate the movie outright. But for me, when I watch a Titanic movie like the old ones that we have watched, I'd rather they stick to the historical facts in it, and have all historical characters. Obviously, for this movie, we get 2 central characters that, well, there was a Rose Dawson apparently on the ship, but Jack is made up. Um, so that's where I had the issue, but I could understand why they did it. But this movie, biggest budget, James Cameron basically built a replica of this ship as well. I mean, he went all out. I have to give it to him. He did the underwater sea dives, the whole lot. And if you haven't watched any of the James Cameron documentaries on Titanic, you should. They're actually an eye opener, very good. There's even high definition now footage of the ship under the ocean. And the sad thing is, it could disappear within 20 to 25 years. So, you know, um, I'm glad we're getting all of this, because it'll collapse within itself, and that's it. Titanic will be sadly lost forever. Um, and as I said, it's the human side of this as well. It's. I love this. Look, I do love this movie. It's just, I just wish they had kept the romance out of it. But look, besides all of that, it is a good story, I have to say, and there is a lot of tension. And when it hits the iceberg and the shit hits the fan, it's actually pretty good, I have to say. And it's sad in some parts as well. So if you want to get your DVDs ready, or use our Blu-rays, get them ready there. We've got 4 people watching right now. Obviously, when we not many people, I think, are fans. It's probably just me and RealSuperDoctor that are fans. But we will be continuing these movie streams. I haven't decided whether we'll keep them on a Friday. I just wanted to do something tonight, because there was nothing to actually talk about. But then before I came on air, I've heard some stuff is going on Instagram with Shooty over the fact that he doesn't have Twitter, and apparently people are messing with him, which is bang out of order, by the way. I mean, the guy hasn't even filmed that yet, and people are already looking for excuses to go after him. But I don't know who exactly is doing this, but Cheryl is on, and I am on Instagram, but I haven't seen it because I haven't been on Instagram, or I haven't bothered to. Well, I haven't bothered to check, to be quite honest with you. But Cheryl said that there was some drama going on. But anyway, we'll leave it there. So get your Blu-rays and DVDs ready. I better get the bleeding movie ready myself, man. So hold on. I'm going to get set up, and then it will bring on John, and we'll get going straight away because it's a 3-hour movie. And we will talk, Jordan. As you know what happens. We do a countdown. You get your DVD Blu-ray ready. When we do the countdown, we'll ask you to press play. Don't tell me this movie is not on here. That is ridiculous, man. The movie is fucking ancient. Right. Just hold on because I'll get it. Here we go. Oh, it'd be great if I actually wrote in the bloody name, wouldn't it? Actually, I've just noticed as well that there's a new bloody there's a new Titanic movie out called Titanic 666, and apparently it's a replica or something, and it goes over the location where the original Titanic sank, and apparently some dodgy crap is gonna happen. Me and John will have to check that one out for the laugh. But let's bring him on. He's here. It's the one and only, the other fan of this ship. We are fans, and you know, it's a very fascinating story. Still over 100 years later, there's still mysteries, and that's the thing about it. But here he is. It's RealSuperDoctor.
Hello, Noel. How you doing?
I've got the movie. Yeah, I didn't want to try
Yeah.
it on that thing that you sent me because I'm having problems with that at the moment. So I found another place that I know that's reliable.
Right. See, with that site, you need an ad blocker to kind of get around the ads.
Yeah, I don't. It's grand. It's all sorted anyway. Oh, Jesus, I have to do this crap right. What do I have to do? Please click every. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. With it. Right, okay. I don't.
Did you have the video of this when it came out?
Yeah, we had the VR. It was wore out. It was.
Yeah.
It was bleeding wore out, man. Because me ma would whack it on every time my dad went out the weekend. Me mum would whack it on, and it'd be there. Look, it was a huge movie. I remember all the mammies were going crazy for Leo. Me dad had seen all Titanic movies, and he actually said that this was the one that he enjoyed the most. Now I have to say, he went to the cinema to actually see it with me, mum. Which I found a bit weird back in the. But there you go. They still go to the cinema, but he went to the cinema to see it, and I mean, when they came home, they couldn't stop bleeding talking about it. It was the only thing that they kept talking about, and for days after. And then, as soon as the VHS was released, they went. You could get it at the time. You could get it in the super. Well, you can still get them in the supermarkets, but the supermarkets start then selling them. And when they were there, they picked up one. The bloody thing was wore out, mate. Bloody thing was wore out, and then we got to watch it together as a family as well. Like so. Yeah, look, as I said, there's certain elements I don't like, but overall, at the time, let's be honest, it probably is the best Titanic movie made, like visually. But A Night to Remember, obviously we've done that. But A Night to Remember, obviously it's more historical and it goes into the finer details. And you know, for that movie is probably the best for that. But he didn't do too bad. He got the balance almost right. But it's still a good movie. Right, we'll get cracking on it anyway. I see 7 of you are watching. So if you are watching, what's that happening here? Right, hopefully, hold on.
See, with all
Right.
this technology, you'd have been better with the VHS or the DVD.
Yeah, I think if I'm correct in saying, I think I have it on me PlayStation 3. I have to get me PlayStation 3 out again. Because right, this is not working out the way I wanted to. Right, I'll just have to try the other one and hopefully I'll get away with it. Oh, this is a disaster. Anyway, couple of seconds now and I'll do the countdown. 3 hours, as I said, so we'll just get straight into it and then we'll do a quick review because we'll be talking throughout the movie anyway. So we don't have to spend too long on reviewing it, and then we'll give you our rating for this movie. And then, as I said, if you're on Twitter and you follow me, yeah, go and vote for movie choices there. As I said, Event Horizon, Apollo 13, Sphere, and The Martian. And I think The Martian is winning right now at the moment. So vote. Because if you don't vote, and then you come and you say, I don't like this movie. That's why it's important to vote. Get your vote in. Right, you get your vote in, and then you'll be able to kind of hopefully influence your choice. Right, here we go. Right, without further ado, John, are you ready?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming everybody that's watching is ready. So if you've got your DVD and Blu-ray already in, we're about to do a 5-second countdown. When I say press play, you know what to do. You press that play button. Okay, so here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press play. And here we go. We've got the
20th
yellow.
Century Fox.
We've got the yellow.
Yeah.
Paramount. What? Paramount 100 year? What are you going 20th Century Fox for?
I'm at 20th Century Fox. That's the beginning of the film.
No, here we go. The music is coming in now. They show
Yeah.
old footage. Oh, you're what? My mum. I must be watching this, but the special
A slight
edition.
variation.
I think I might be watching the special edition, which there's
Yeah.
extra little footage. So this is actually the 3 hour 15 minute.
Well, this is the 3 hour 14 minute.
Yeah, 3 hour 14 minutes
Yeah.
and 49 seconds. Right, we've got the same one. It's just yours started off a weird.
It was so sad because my papa was a huge Titanic fan and he died the year before this film was released. And I could remember I kind of been kind of upset that he didn't get to see it.
Yeah. The legends in the chat as well, RealSuperDoctor. But yeah, man, yeah. I mean, my dad. That's what I mean. My dad was fascinated with this as well, and he actually got to see it.
Yeah,
it's sad for those people that spent their lives, either trying to, to read people's stories that were on the ship and to watch the documentaries and stuff like that. This was they'd made some great Titanic movies, but
yeah,
as I said, this one visually is brilliant. Right, we're at the sub now.
The submarines are kind of model shots, but the actual shots here is the actual Titanic. As you see,
because that's the footage you went in and got the footage. Yeah. I mean, it's not like that now. It's even worse now, folks. But
yeah.
Remember, this was the largest floating object in the world at the time. It was a time of optimism. It was a time where human creation and engineering and
Yeah.
stuff was at its peak. And they did truly believe, or the media anyway, did
Yeah.
truly believe that this ship was unsinkable. But they never said that. They said it was what was the word they used that they left out? They said it was
Uh, practically
practically
unthinkable. But
unsinkable, but they
it
left out
was,
the practically, and they said it, and the media went with
yeah. Yeah.
unsinkable. So when the tragedy happened, it literally hit the well, it hit
Yeah.
America to its
Yeah.
core, and the British as well. Obviously, the whole world. It affected anybody that knew about Titanic. It affected. Remember, the last port of call was Ireland as well, off
Yeah.
the Cork coast.
Yeah.
So we were the last ones to see the ship. And
Yeah.
the Lusitania, but we won't get into that one. It's mad. The last port of call is Ireland, and yeah. Anyway, look at that. Look at them shots. If you are watching with us now, you're
Yeah.
seeing real footage of the ship that James Cameron's team got.
Well, actually, it was actually a model. It was actually a huge scale model that they actually done for other scenes of the wreck.
Yeah,
What they done was they got this huge model and filmed it upside down for some weird reason. And then they had the two submarines. When you see the two submarines coming in, you know it's the model shot because the actual submarines won't go side by side like that. So it's quite fascinating, and even the documentaries in this, the making of Titanic with James
yeah.
Cameron.
They even, because of this wreck,
Yeah,
they've been able to design new
yeah,
technology like these things to be
yeah,
able to go deeper into the wreck. Now, if you think about it, that was what, 20 odd years ago. So
yeah,
the technology would be even greater now. They can
yeah,
go deeper into the ship than they've been able to ever do before.
yeah. I don't know if Ocean Gate are allowed to do that at this moment in time, but they're allowed to kind of photograph the wreck and explore it. But I don't know if they're allowed inside it because there's laws now by it was by NOAA that they shouldn't penetrate the wreck. But this is fascinating. You can see the remotely operated vehicles getting inside the wreck. And this is they actually did this. But see the shots here of you can see the chandelier there, and you can see the remotely operated vehicle going in. These were all done by tank shots, separate tank shots, because you can see the glasses sitting there, and you can see the boots sitting there. That is not the actual wreck. That's that was just all filmed in a tank, for extra visualization. And the the ROV coming into the room and all that was all filmed under in a tank. And you can see the rat tail fish there going at the fireplace. You can see the wee crab there as well. And this is not the actual piano that was on the Titanic wreck. This is just a kind of made up one. See, James Cameron wanted to make this film very visually spectacular. He didn't want to exclude any detail. He wanted all the detail into that film.
That's it. And he
Yeah,
was right, though.
yeah,
I know at the time people were kind of moaning, 3 hours, but
yeah,
because it was well written, and as you said, he went into that detail. It kept people fascinated,
Yeah,
and kept
yeah,
them wanting to watch it. Look, the 3 hours fly in. You don't
yeah,
realize it. That's the thing. You're watching it. As soon as it starts getting a bit, it speeds up a little bit. When Rose comes into it, and the
yeah,
old lady starts telling the story, then old Rose starts telling the story, then it starts to speed up a little bit.
yeah,
And then before you know it, then it's over. But I love
yeah,
this. They found the safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see, they were expecting to get the diamond
Diamond,
in the safe,
the heart
but
of the ocean. Yeah.
the heart of the ocean. Yeah,
I love his face when he
yeah,
realizes it's not there.
yeah. But it's good. It's good that even though he doesn't find it, it's just the whole thing that leads up to this and leads up to this the story and the television broadcast and that and the old Rose actually discovering that it was actually her drawing that Jack drew. It's fascinating. It's amazing the stuff that they can actually find from the wreck and bring it up, like old newspapers and all that, and that are wrapped in some kind of leather satchel or something like that, because the tannin in the leather's protecting the paper with inside it.
I love that dude.
Yeah, I think the drawing was the most controversial thing of the film because of the fact that Kate Winslet was actually posing naked.
Mm.
No, it was actually for that scene. Believe it or not, that was actually James Cameron that was drawn. Drawn Kate Winslet lying down like that. It wasn't Leonardo DiCaprio because you can see the difference in his hand and all that, and you can see an older hand drawing it. But it's fascinating. And this is the thing I like. He devised a way for a 101 year old survivor, fictional, in a way that could relate to the audience, because they needed to kind of have that to kind of channel back in time
I
and
agree with you. I think she was the link to the audience
yeah,
because you needed that human emotion. So if you see an
yeah,
old woman that you think survived the Titanic,
yeah.
then you're gonna have that connection. Yeah, it's very clever. I
It is
love
a
this
very
though.
clever. It was a very clever plot that,
I love this though when she sees the picture.
and the reactions to her is absolutely priceless because she's actually intrigued by it, but also kind of horrified by it because she went through that well, about 84 years ago, she said.
I'll be goddamned. I love the way she says that though. I'll be goddamned.
It's very American with the speech and everything like that.
Did you see the deleted scene at the end that they cut out because it was
Yeah, I
just this
did.
weird fucking scene,
Yeah,
and it wouldn't have made sense to the whole of the movie.
yeah,
It would have ruined the whole tone of the movie.
yeah.
Oh man, it was. Haha.
See, I like the end of the movie because it is it just writes it all up. I mean, you've got her seemingly having it all this time, and then she drops it in the ocean and at the over the Titanic site, and you know
See what
that.
I like about, but John, what I like
Yeah,
about this is right, is
yeah,
that he's all about getting to diamonds, right?
yeah,
And throughout this movie, the whole point of it is basically is that he's just looking at her from, I want to get
yeah,
this diamond because it look great on my CV and it's the
yeah,
Titanic, the most famous ship. Whereas when she comes on board, then she starts humanizing it to the rest of them,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because when this guy is telling her what happens, right, and go
yeah,
blah, 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 and she says, "Oh, it was more terrifying than that," or whatever, and then she
yeah,
starts telling the story, and by the end, then you could
yeah,
see him, he's completely changed. He has, where he's just all about the diamond, but then he realizes, you
yeah,
know, the human casualty, the people that were on the ship, and
yeah,
you know what they had to go through, and
yeah,
stuff. And he begins to realize he's a bit of a dick.
yeah. I mean, I mean, the people that's went down to that wreck. I mean, every single one of them have even spoke of the kind of strange sentiment. Just just seeing the bow section, just going there and just being at the wreck site. There's a strange kind of sentiment,
Yeah.
and the immense size of it because it's still an immense size of a ship, even though it's broken in two.
I know.
And Gloria Stewart was a famous actress of her time, and I mean the cast as well selected in this. And the only thing she wants to see is the drawing.
It's funny how Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio hated each other on this movie, but then
Yeah,
became really close and are really good
yeah,
friends, and they've even holidayed together now.
yeah,
But I think they said it was because of the experience and what they had to go through in this movie. I mean, he literally had them all in a water tank,
yeah,
and she nearly drowned or something in the movie.
yeah. And there was I think she was food poisoned there as well at the set,
Yeah.
and they had to kind of delay it for a while until she got better.
Hmm.
And I think this film actually made it justified for RMS Titanic to go down to the wreck and retrieve artifacts to tell the people that died on the Titanic their story because their story had never been told. You know, they've been condemned for all those years. You know,
Yeah, I'm glad now though, but I'm
yeah,
noticing now over the years,
yeah,
instead of focusing on the main characters that we all know about that were on the ship,
yeah,
they're focusing now on second and third class passengers that we didn't know too
yeah,
much about, you know. And I like that. I watched the documentary I did now. I have to say the people behind it.
Yeah.
Like they were mid-20 somethings, and I'm not saying because you're mid-20, you can't be an expert on Titanic or anything like that. But I just couldn't take them seriously because when I watch programs on it, it's always some old guy or older
Yeah.
ladies talking about it. You know, they look like historians. You
Yeah.
know, these new type historians, they look like hipsters.
Yeah.
This is the story now. I love this.
And this was there like computer graphics and that, and
Yeah, but when we were
you know.
watching this as kids, this was fascinating
Oh yeah.
because we got to see.
I think I was only 18 when this came out.
Splits. He was close. He was
Yeah.
close. It did split like that, but
Yeah.
it actually see the way he has it detaching like that. It didn't. It actually broke off in another. There was another little section, so it broke it
Yeah.
actually in three, not two. But he
Yeah.
was close.
Yeah.
He was close. He actually shows it in the movie. You can see the ship splitting, but you can see that it splits on either side of a middle. Right? It's the
Yeah.
middle section that drops down. But there you go. That's exactly how it landed, though.
But imagine that you're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and you're seeing all this huge ship, and you're out in a lifeboat, and you're looking back at it, and you can see the lights shining off and off the calm ocean and all that, and then suddenly the ship takes a turn and then starts to plunge, and then the lights go out, and then it
Ah,
breaks
listen,
in
it'd be
two, and you don't
scary.
see it.
It'd be scary even if you survived. It'd be
Yeah.
scary to look at. But I
Yeah.
love this now because, like, she gets very upset, right? But then she composes herself.
Yeah.
But this is what James Cameron is good at on the human side of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been 84 years. Or
Yeah.
set would have been 84. Yeah, I think she says 84 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 87. We'll see where how close I was. We Daniel was two.
Oh.
Wait, they hated each other on set. Yeah, man. They actually even talk about it now, laugh about it, but they weren't. They didn't get on. They didn't get on. Even when they had to do their romantic scenes and all, they just didn't get on. They just got on with it, but they kind of explained it. But now they're the best of buddies, so I don't really give a crap. We're all delighted that they're buddies now.
Yeah. Well, she says it's 84 years.
So 84 was right. That's what I mean. Wow. For me, well, yeah.
And this is a good scene here. You see the wreck and then merging into the actual ship.
Right, I'm gonna have to get right in a minute. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to get you get you to give me a timestamp, okay? Because I knew this was gonna happen. I was on 28 minutes and
I'm on
8 seconds.
21:15, 21:18.
What?
Yep. 21:24.
What are you watching it on?
I'm watching it on that.
Thing?
Yep. Yep.
Same thing?
Yep.
Hold on. 21.
Yep.
Oh, for God's sake, come on. What you? Okay. Okay, you're right. What the fuck? My thing is acting up big time.
Wow.
Right,
See, I'm
so
at
20.
the
What you on now
Southampton.
exactly?
20,
What you on?
22 minutes.
22 minutes. Right, so I'll go 22, 23. Right, when you get to 22, 20, when you get to, hold on. When you get to 24, let me
Yeah.
know. 24 minutes exactly.
See, I'm at Southampton at the moment.
Yeah, when you get to 24 minutes, let me know. Well, I'm on 23, 10 seconds. How far am I ahead of you or behind you?
A wee bit, about 10 seconds.
Right, so you're on right, so will I pause it for 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm on 23, 24. When you get to 23, 23, tell me to press play.
See, they're boarding the Titanic now.
Right, well then that's the part I'm on.
Right, 23,
Right, she's
I'm
just
there.
said it was a slave ship. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. Right, so we're good. Her mother was a prick in this movie, though. Sorry for the language,
I
but her
thought she was
mother was a
completely
prick.
nasty and
But,
vindictive.
but
'Cause,
that's
I
the way
mean,
they were. It was all about
yeah,
reputation, man. If their husbands like left a trail of destruction, unfortunately, back in those days,
yeah,
the wives were like, as she said, they sent to the workhouses. You couldn't pay your husband's bills. You were punished for your husband's mistakes. So that's why, you know, if these women had a daughter, you know, and she was, you know, back in those days, I think I don't know how old Rose was. I think she was 16 or something.
yeah,
You know, if they
18, I
had a
think.
young daughter like that, they married them off to someone rich so they'd
Yeah,
save their reputation. It's weird, man. But that's the way it was. It was all the class system back in the day. First class, second class, and then you had your steerage. But that's the way it was in society.
yeah,
Oh, there's Leo.
yeah.
Fabrizio. Niente. Ah,
Fabrizio.
what happens to him? I actually do feel sad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, get some snacks.
Van Bam de Loosling.
Have a couple of those Fox's Rocky chocolate bars.
Oh, they're
They're
quite good.
yeah, I like them.
I like the caramel ones.
Yeah, I have a packet of them in there. I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the caramel though. No, Titanic goes to America in 5 minutes.
See the pier here. I mean, you don't know what you're stepping in. I mean, you're
Yeah.
running about, and you could be stepping in horse shit. Because I mean, there are a lot of horses about there, and they don't see it, they don't clean it up, and
Yeah.
you know, and you're bringing it on board their ship. Now this is a good
No,
scene here.
he's having the luckiest son of the bitches in the world.
No,
You just got on a ship that you are gonna die on.
it's a pity they didn't show the collision between the New York, the almost collision or something like that,
Yeah.
or something to kind of dramatize that, because you can see the New York's by the Titanic there. See, with this launch, it goes quite smoothly. I mean, it's there's not much historical accuracy in this bit.
Ah, it doesn't matter though. The whole
Yeah,
point of this shot was to just show you how massive the ship was.
yeah. And I think the CGI fails a little bit, and I mean only a little bit. But you can see that there's a lot of errors in even in the people standing in the ship. You can see that. But back in 1997, you wouldn't kind of it'd be something spectacular.
If he was to make this now, it would be a completely different movie and it'd be more
Yeah,
believable.
yeah.
But I mean, the detail, it's just amazing.
I mean the private promenade and all that, and in this room. I mean, I think this room actually belonged to the Strausses, or I can't remember because the exact detail on it is phenomenal.
Picasso.
At least they were cheap. Now, Kathy Bates's performance in this is great. Is Molly
She's
Brown?
brilliant. Look,
Yeah,
I'm going to say something about Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates is brilliant in anything she's ever been in. She never
yeah,
has a bad performance. She's a great actress.
yeah. I first saw her in Misery by James Caan, and
Oh,
that was great.
Jesus. And he just recently passed away.
Yeah, I
So
know.
maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do Misery, actually, because that is a cracking movie, man.
Oh my
Especially the
god,
hobbling scene.
I'm your #1 fan. Even the
I
detail
would
in
have
the
gone on at Southampton, John. If
yeah,
I had a time machine,
uh-huh.
right, I'd get on at Southampton and get off at the coast of Ireland when they pick up the last passengers
Yeah.
and get off. Take out my camera phone without anybody noticing. Take a few colour photographs of it and then come back.
That's what I would do. I would take a camera and like build it in a kind of box or something like that, a wooden box and that, so nobody notices.
Yeah, I'd walk around with my camera phone taking as many photographs as a ship as I could.
Yeah. Imagine taking a film of it and putting it on YouTube.
I know. I do love the dolphins here, though.
Yeah.
I have to give it to James Cameron. Well done,
Yeah.
mate. Still, it was. Man, it didn't win the Oscars at one for no reason.
I mean, this is
Look
totally
at that.
breathtaking. Look at that.
Oh, to see it in colour as well, though,
Yeah.
man. Because remember, yeah, we had the the older colour version, but with crap colour. This is just look at that.
I
And
mean, he
by the
was
way,
the
that
first.
wasn't even that fast.
Yeah.
21 knots. I mean,
Yeah.
they weren't even like they didn't even hit full steam ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I was totally amazed by that scene, seeing the Titanic sailing at sea, because he was the only one that could that actually done this. I mean, a year previously they had made a Titanic film with Catherine Zeta-Jones, but you can see that the CGI is not very good in this, as you can see in here.
Look at that, man.
I mean, they done CGI, they done the replica of the Titanic in this, and they also done model shots as well.
Look at that.
The huge giant crank engine, the crankshafts and that, and in the engine room.
Seriously, man.
Now this is the iconic scene. But you see that the Jack is on the bow of the ship, and he's saying, "I'm the king of the world." You know, as James Cameron said, it's his moment. It's his life. It's the moment that he's taken, but he doesn't know he's even going to his death. You know, he's an artist. He's letting his heart soar. He's embracing this adventure.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think the smoke coming out the funnels is quite realistic. Not now.
No, and it looks like he has it coming out of the 4 funnels, and we know
Yeah,
that it was only coming out of 3. Yeah, there are
yeah,
little look things like that I can overlook because
yeah,
it's the other details that he gets right. You know, they're always going to, unfortunately, make 1 or 2 mistakes.
yeah. And Victor Garber is Thomas Andrews. I couldn't quite see him as Thomas Andrews. Not like the A Night to Remember's Thomas Andrews. I mean, no detail was spared in this film. I mean, they put absolutely everything, and even down to the dresses that the women wore. I mean, there was a costume designer that researched all the beads for the time and beaded dresses and all that. And I mean, they'd done a lot of things for this film to get it right for the period in the Titanic was in 1912. I mean, it must have been something just to be aboard that ship.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to be
Yeah.
on that ship at the time?
And even the third class had luxury as well. They had big long tables and that, and fresh fruit and that, and they got looked after as well.
I love the way he said, "This is an English ship." You no, no, this is an Irish ship. This is where don't take fucking credit for that, mate. Give
Huh?
it to the fucking English. If you want credit for the Titanic, let them take it. It's under the bottom of the ocean now. We ain't taking credit for that shit.
Oh, forget it, boy. Like have angels fly out to your arse to get next to likes of
Yeah.
her. You know, it's just you can see the two class situations merging there, and it is an interesting. It would never have happened in reality.
No, but again, he wants to show you that there was a difference.
Yeah,
Mate, if you want to stay married to her, right, what you should have done was you
yeah.
don't clip her wings, right? She obviously is a bit of a wild one. You let her be wild, she'll stay loyal to you anyway, you know. But you try to control her, you little sad. I'm talking about as if he's real.
Yeah. But imagine being in the first class. I mean, imagine being uh, smartened up like that, and the long tailcoat, frock coat, and the white shirt and that, and the bow tie and that, and you know, to be a part of that polite society. Well, that's what they called it back then, the polite society.
Mm.
So the steerage were the common people, they were the down and outs of society. But yeah, it's really because they're the most alive people you could ever meet, and these are the poor individuals that went down with the ship, sadly.
So there's literally YouTube videos made, obviously, about the wardrobe scene.
Yeah,
Was there enough room for Jack to get on, and he didn't have to die?
yeah,
But see, the one thing that people have forgotten when they're doing their analysis of their videos and using technology,
yeah,
because they're sad, is the
yeah,
fact that both of them weighed different weights for starters.
yeah,
So if one was lying on one side and the other one was lying on the other side, number one, the board itself, the wardrobe board itself, would sink lower because it's heavier for starters.
yeah,
Second of all, it'd be off balance because the two of them are different weights. In order for it to actually work, which it wouldn't have worked because it still would have sank, was the fact that the two of them, Jack would have to lie on top of Rose, or Rose lie on top of Jack to keep them central, to keep the weight all in the middle, right? So in reality, there was no fucking space for him because you would have killed the two of them. So I want to throw that out there because this has been a raging debate for ages. Stay where you are. I mean it. I'll jump out now. I'll let go. We'll let go then. Come on. I love the fact he throws his smoke. No, you won't. No, you won't. Mhm.
I mean, there's no way that this could have ever happened in the Titanic anyway.
I know, but he had to
Yeah,
manufacture a way to meet him.
yeah. More like indoor girl.
Basically, what he means there is like, well, you're a posh yoke. What would you know about ice fishing? Can't breathe. Can't breathe.
Well, all due respect, miss, I'm not the one hanging off the back of the ship here. I bet you if that really happened and you were trying to save the girl and she went like that and you'd be absolutely crapping yourself.
Yeah, I just let her fall.
I don't think I would do that. My heart would be beating that fast. I better bloody save her.
Nah, I wouldn't bother. because like she probably pulled me over too. You know, I'm only messing. Of course, you try save her, wouldn't you? I
Yeah,
mean, that's what we're all about. I love the fact that they think he's done something nasty to her.
yeah. And that's because he took off his boots, and it gave them the kind of, I mean, if he was going to do that to her, I mean, he wouldn't take off his boots.
Exactly.
I mean, that's totally ridiculous. Was that the way of it, sir?
Women and machinery do not mix. Oh my god. But that was the attitude back then. Keep them
Yeah.
out of the engine room.
I'm surprised this film hasn't been cancelled for that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because they, yeah, we shouldn't have said that. We're just at the highlighting it now.
I mean, if they made the film now, I don't think there would be kind of these things in it. I think it would be altered to kind of suit the narrative of
No, they'd have to. It's a
today.
historical story. They'd
Yeah,
have to. That look, still relative to those people that are alive, they'd be outraged.
yeah,
You can't historically alter something that radically. No, you can
yeah,
make little changes because you need to make it flow and stuff like that. But you keep
yeah.
the main details in.
And he knows there's something up because he kind of suspected it anyway. James Cameron says that the moment that Rose had the diamond on, it was the moment that she sealed her fate. I would like to see another Titanic film. I would like them to go more historically accurate, and I wonder if they would do it. So Jack's trying basically to get it out of her to why she was at this point, that why she was trying to throw herself off the back of the ship. Because she's trapped in this decision, and it's brought on by her mother. That she feels very trapped in this world, and she's basically just wanting a means to escape. But when she
Yeah.
finally kind of clicks onto it, she finally realizes that Jack's her way out of the situation that she's in.
Well, in fairness, yeah, it is a way out, but she does fall in love with him. It's not,
Yeah,
there's nothing fake about her falling
yeah,
in love with him, like,
yeah,
but you are right. It is, she sees him as a key to freedom to just live a normal life. She doesn't want to
yeah.
live the life that her mother wants for her.
Now, I believe the drawings were drawn by James Cameron. Well, some of them were.
Yeah, I think again. Well, I mean, I will say this. I know she probably had no problem with it, but I say that would be problematic today if a director did something like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a one-legged prostitute.
Yeah. Just her hands.
You see people. I see you. And you win a jump.
See, that's what it was just all about for the mother. It was just because
Yeah,
when she does have that conversation with Rose, then she makes it very clear, you've got to marry this guy. She guilt trips her. Basically, if
yeah,
you don't marry her, I'm going to be out in the streets.
yeah.
So it's your responsibility to step up for the family name. Like
Now,
what?
this is a scene here that was overheard by Emily Ryerson,
Yeah,
a road passenger, about Bruce Ismay talking about the speed of the ship and the operations to the ship to Captain Smith.
yeah,
So
but
this is an
wasn't that?
accurate scene.
But hasn't that been dismissed though? That whole conversation by other witnesses saying that it never happened.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was dismissed, but
Yeah,
there is a few interesting things in this movie that do happen.
yeah, but
Apparently, the
not
reason why
Bernard Hill.
some people think that this conversation never
Yeah,
happened was
yeah,
because the ship wasn't actually going excessive speed. It was actually
yeah,
going the speed at the time.
yeah,
So that was allowed at the time. So they weren't breaking speed. So I honestly don't think that conversation happened. I
yeah,
think that's someone just trying to, after the disaster, because everybody was talking about it and survivors were talking about it, people just start talking about it that probably didn't even hear stuff.
yeah.
Because how could they verify it? You know? Bruce Ismay was already disgraced. The captain had went down with the ship. So unless the captain was alive to verify it and go against whatever Bruce Ismay said, we'll never know. I don't think it did.
Yeah.
He'd speak like a man. Speak like a man. Did they not teach you that and finish school? No. Come on, I'll show you how to spit. Well, you asked them, so don't be getting. In fairness, though, I do hate that scene.
Yeah, I thought it was totally unnecessary, but
oh Jesus Christ! Oh Jesus! Even the sound of it.
I know.
Like when you do it yourself because you need to do it, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
No.
There's
I
the
just
mother.
can't listen to the sound. Oh, there we go. They're talking. Thanks be to Jesus.
See, because of their money and their privileges, they think they're above everybody else, and it really shows with some of the first class because their money, they're fooling themselves in it. But it doesn't make them any better, does it?
No.
I mean, they're still human.
Because it is a cavalry charge. We'll see you at dinner, Jack.
Absolutely love Kathy Bates in Misery. I mean, she's really good at that. Really good at the performances she done.
What I like about her, again, she brings this unique humanism to every part that she plays. Like, you really believe her. You really believe she's Molly Brown here, right? You really believe that she is, what's his name, John Sheldon's #1 fan.
Yeah.
Because she has that human. It's just there's some actresses out there that just have it, and some actors that just have it. Leo was another one as well. I mean, he even before Titanic, right?
Yeah.
He was winning. He was in fucking some class movies. Now he won an Oscar for this one, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, he should have won an Oscar for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. You could have gave him one for The Basketball Diaries. But he got one for this. But ever since then, he's improved. He's become one of the top actors out there. I love Anton he's in. Leo, I'll watch him in Anton, even if it's a biography movie. J. Edgar Hoover is an example. He did the Howard Hughes, the Aviator movie. That was very good as well. Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks. That was fucking brilliant as well. He is absolutely brilliant actor. He is.
I remember seeing the film at the time and then kind of thinking about, who is this young actor? Who's the young the actress as well? And are they going to be good at it? And that is it going to be as good as the A Night to Remember or Barbara Stanwyck Titanic films? But this film was just like just completely blew me away how good it was.
I do love this scene where he's. Jesus, Kate Winslet back in the day. And she's still lovely now. I tell you, she's got a filthy mouth. Did you ever see her in Ricky Gervais Extras?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man, she's in an episode where she plays a nun, right? Even if you don't watch Extras and you don't like Ricky Gervais, you have to check that episode out with Kate Winslet. It is the funniest thing you will ever see. I'm not messing.
Yeah.
She's got a dirty, filthy sense of humor. She's just a brilliant actor. She's a brilliant actress as well. But I have to say, her career didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go, to be honest. I would have loved to see her in more mainstream
Yeah. I
movies.
think that she appeared in a series that Russell T Davies had made.
Mm.
And I think that she was going to be she was a contender to be Professor Riversong.
I think she would have made a good Professor Riversong.
Yeah. And Bernard Hill, who plays Captain Smith, he was in Shirley Valentine, which is also a good movie. Very funny for its time.
Mm-hmm.
There's Martin Jarvis, who was also in Doctor Who twice.
That's what I mean. You could literally, because how could they check?
Yeah.
If I robbed someone's fancy suit, I'd go into first class. But then at that stage, I'm dead because it's gonna sink. The
This
chip
actor
won't
that's
find
playing
us.
John Jacob Astor, he looks very like him.
Yeah. Great movie, man.
I do love the dining room and all that, and all the tables all set and all that, and it's just it must have been an amazing experience just to be like that, be dressed up, being going to dinner like that, and being a part of this and blending in, being a part of high society, because that's high society back then. This is what they like to do. They loved their dinners. They loved their wining and their dining. I mean, the ITV one got it quite spot on with the kind of the waiters and all that. It was the Italian waiters. Start from about outside and work your way in. I think I would want caviar in the Titanic. I think that the thing about the dinner table is I would love to have seen the menu. The choice of the menu and that, and see what the food was like in the Titanic.
I think you can. I think they have a online
Yeah,
menu on board. Online, I think they
yeah,
do. I think they have a because remember Harland and Wolf now are the ones that actually are investigating all of the little
yeah.
stories, trying to find people and tell their stories. So I think they do. Yeah.
And a bottle of Titanic champagne.
I love this scene.
They've brought bottles of champagne up from the Titanic wreck site, and I think they've opened one of them, it's actually perfectly preserved inside.
Carl didn't like that. Great speech.
I mean, you would really think that was real food, but it's not real food. The
I
the, the,
know.
the trolleys going in, that was actually just all fake food that was just getting pushed around. Like the big huge gato in the background. I mean, I mean, they just went into total detail to make it as believable as possible. I love the leaded glass windows, and you can see it in the background and that, and the carved wood structures and that. And I mean, the detail that went into that film. I mean, they spent no expense, but
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there was nothing left. I mean, look, this man, James Cameron, obviously
yeah,
is like us.
yeah,
Loves this ship, loves everything about it. He wants to tell a
yeah,
story, and obviously he became a filmmaker. And I bet you he's always wanted to tell this story. I
yeah,
would actually like him again, as you said. You'd like to see another one. I'd actually
yeah,
like him to do it though, because I'll tell you what, he did well with this one. With
yeah,
technology now that he has at his disposal, he could do, there's new evidence since obviously the coal bunker fire.
yeah,
He could do
yeah,
before, he could do, like, he could start off the whole movie with 7 days or a few weeks prior to the launch of the ship.
yeah,
Yeah. And basically show the incident that happened on the
yeah,
ship with the fire and all of that, and all the dodgy shit that went on before
yeah.
that, because a lot has been revealed since then. And then obviously make a brand new movie, but obviously keep Jack and Rose out of it. But imagine if he was able to bring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet back for it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made them different roles and that, and to
But I do agree with you. But there's a couple of scenes in this movie that break my heart, man.
yeah.
It's very well done. James Cameron makes you
I
feel.
mean, you can see that the steerage class. I mean, these people are so alive and they're having fun and they don't realize that there's danger ahead. And I mean that's heartbreaking
I know.
because they're enjoying themselves. They're playing the huge bands and that, and these people have basically no pennies to rub together. They're going to a new world and they're going to a new life, and they're hoping that they're going to make something of themselves and their families and that, and they're risking their whole lives and their families on board that ship, and they don't seem to realise the danger that is ahead because the unforeseen circumstances that led to Titanic's demise. But imagine these places. They wouldn't be brightly lit like that. They would be darker, and they would be kind of less lights. And in certain hours, they would turn off the lights at night. And it's even sadder for Jack as well because he's the one that's going to. He doesn't even know what's going to happen to him as well. I mean, it's his moment. It's the moment in his life that it's a great opportunity to take. I mean, if you wanted to sail in the largest ship in the world and that, and that luxury and all that, and you wanted to go to another country and that and make a life for yourself. I mean, yeah, I mean, Titanic was fully booked at that point because I remember there was documentaries and saying that the there were passengers that couldn't even get on the Titanic because it was fully booked, and they had to go on other lines and that to get to New York. You could really smell the beer and the sweat in there, and the cigarette smoke.
I love the reaction. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That's a typical Irish. Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. What did you do? What did you do at all? I tell you, I was going down the shop there now the other day, and I saw the old Farmer John, and I said hello to him, and we went and we got some beers and stuff, and we were reminiscing about the time that we had huge farms and shit. This was quite controversial, this scene coming up now.
Yeah, I could remember. I remember seeing it at the time and thinking, I mean, he's got a short temper in him.
Man, I will say one thing, right? I'll give it to the women back in the day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to wear this shit, so well done to yous.
I mean, they had to wear corsets and all that, and they were that tight in the body that they that
They actually
it affected
shaped,
their
yeah,
breathing.
they actually did it, yeah. Now, this is the story now.
I mean, Kate Winslet looks really nice there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some certain scenes in this.
Yeah, I remember watching that with the parents, and that scene. Now, we were kids, but when that scene came on, we were told to turn our heads.
Yeah.
But see the way the mother is guilt tripping her daughter now. If you
Yeah.
don't do this, I'm going to be working at the workhouses. Is that what you want? Do you want your
Yeah.
mommy to be poor? Yeah, old hag. Go ahead. Be poor. I'm going off with Jack now. In fairness, she does have a point there, the old one. As women, their choices, they
Yeah.
didn't have many choices. They just had to do what they had to do to survive. I suppose most
It
of
was
them did.
either that or be a skivvy, because that's basically what the way they treated women back then. You see, the working women were named as skivvies, whatever that means. It's just like the
Heaven on the... I know this song.
the scene here is accurate enough
Yeah,
because it
that's right.
actually happened in the Titanic.
That's right. Yeah, they did have church service. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it wasn't limited to that. It was the only time that all members of the ship could actually come together.
yeah.
You're not allowed to come in here. You're a third class little idiot.
David Warner. And there's one of the ice warnings delivered to the bridge. But we know that in reality the ice warnings weren't delivered to the bridge. They kept on piling up in the Marconi
Well,
room.
no, he got the early ice warnings.
Yeah,
They do say that he got, I think it was 2 or 3 ice warnings, but then
yeah,
because they were doing the mail and that was more important to the operators on Titanic, then they did start piling up. But the
yeah,
actual one that warned them was the one that was not handed to the captain,
yeah.
basically. So
And the accurate scene there when Frederick was spinning his top, that actually happened in the Titanic. And I think that kid actually died in a car accident after the disaster. Thomas Spedden.
yeah, that's true. He was.
Yeah. And the lifeboats made the decks too cluttered. I mean, the detail in this film. I mean, James Cameron had faithfully recreated the gymnasium as
I
well.
know. I know everything he did.
Yeah,
Everything he did. That's why this. I think that's why this movie is so liked, because people could see, even if
yeah,
they didn't particularly like the romance of it and stuff. I think they appreciated all the detail that him and his crew went, and all the lengths they would have went to get every single detail spot on by photographs. Remember, all they had left was photographs from Harland and Wolff and the archive.
yeah. But they didn't have a photograph of Titanic's grand staircase. It was Olympic.
Yeah,
So
that's
basically,
but they were,
the actual staircase, as you see it in this film, is actually Olympic staircase.
yeah. Because didn't they save that one? They saved the staircase, didn't they, in the Olympic?
I don't know. I don't know what they done, but they managed to save a lot of the wood panels in
They
the
did a lot of
Olympic.
the Olympic stuff when it was
Yeah,
gutted. A lot of the stuff was
yeah,
either placed in museums or buildings that they were building, and they incorporated, which
yeah,
was nice. But again, obviously it wouldn't have been the thinking of the time, but isn't
Yeah.
it a goddamn shame that they didn't, that they did, if they hadn't have scrapped it and they maintained it, we would have had an idea of what Titanic looked like, because there was only slight differences between the two ships.
See, the
It would have.
problem is that they had to scrap that ship so they could actually fund workers, the families,
Yeah, the
and they were,
shipyards, yeah.
yeah, shipyards. I like it how the light shines through the windows and that, and I mean
Look at
that's
that.
all the kind of lighting that the passengers in the Titanic would have really had. There would be lights, but they wouldn't be bright enough. You know they wouldn't be as bright as what they are in this film.
I love that scene though, because Rose was looking at her life right there,
Yeah,
that little girl. This is the scene that I do hate now, I have to say.
yeah,
Because I'll tell you why I hate this scene, right? It's not the scene itself. The scene is actually a great scene, right?
yeah,
The proud, because you can understand what he's doing for her, right? It's like that scene symbolized she thinks she could fly, so she's free. She's flying away, yeah? Right, I
yeah,
get it. What I didn't get was the fucking idiots in real life that
yeah,
were going to fucking on boats and
yeah,
ferries across the fucking English Channel to
yeah,
the Irish Channel, and couples were going up to the front of the ship
yeah.
replaying this fucking scene.
I know.
Oh,
This would never have happened in the real Titanic, maybe for
I
one
know.
reason only, because the crew would not have allowed people on the forecastle deck, because it was mainly for the crew to be on the forecastle deck.
Still, though, it's an iconic scene and it was
Yeah,
replicated by fucking idiots out there.
yeah,
You know, and then they even had to, it was even on RT News, I remember, they had to fucking lock the doors going out into it now so no
yeah,
passengers could get out. That's how much of a, look at, no matter what we think in terms of the relationship and the romance in this, it had an impact on everybody. I mean,
yeah,
couples were just doing this stupid. Oh, I love this now because it goes back to the old lady now, the wreck.
yeah,
Watch, it is iconic. Look, I mean, you
yeah.
can't.
I mean that scene, they made that scene the iconic scene because of that film. Because what they done was they had every time they mentioned Titanic, it was always that scene.
I mean, you got to say. I mean, this film, like even
I
young
mean the
couples
crew
going to
wouldn't
see
allow
this
that at all.
movie, the pregnancy rate
Yeah,
rose. The
yeah,
certain movies, believe it or not, people don't realize. They don't realize how much pop culture actually has impact on society. Because
yeah,
literally, those two in this movie got together. Everybody was naming their son or daughter Rose and Jack.
yeah,
Right? It was always the same, Rose or Jack. Whatever big film was out and had an impact, if there was certain characters in it, people were naming their kids after it. I even
yeah.
remember Lost when that was a huge show, right? People were naming their kids. Even Cheryl's sister's done that. She's named one of her kids Sawyer after Sawyer in the show.
I know some parents that are Doctor Who fans have called their children after companions.
Yeah,
So it's not an unusual thing for parents to do.
right. There's still an hour and a half left, folks. But in fairness, it's not. It's not actually. Oh, here's the scene now that John was taught. John's favorite scene's coming up now, and a lot of blokes' favorite scene back in the day.
But this is very typical of artists of the time. They would draw and paint women in the nude, and it was more of the time that these kind of things happen. And if you were a freelance artist or something like that, you would probably be doing something like that for money.
I actually wanna check something because there's something bugging me. Okay, so bit of controversy here. All right.
Yeah,
So in the movie, she's 7'd in.
yeah,
So in reality, well, obviously in reality she was a lot older, but in the
yeah.
movie he's painting a 7'd in-year-old. How old was Jack actually? Because that'll be interesting. I'll find out now. Hold on. Right. So
I think he would have been.
okay, he was 20. He was 20 years old.
Yeah,
He was 3 years older than Rose when he did this. So technically, well, he's on international waters right now, so I don't know how it
yeah,
would actually work out. But if we were to go by the stickler of the law, he's breaking a lot of laws here right now.
yeah. I think she was actually 18, and
No, I've googled that she was
oh
17 in the movie,
my
and
goodness.
he was 20. I've googled it. I just googled it right there. So she's 17 in this scene in
Yeah,
this movie. But you see, we didn't give a shit about this because, like, obviously he was all right. He's 20 years of age, but he's still a young lad,
yeah,
you know. But people do think in those terms now, so
yeah,
I just thought I'd bring it up anyway. I think he has gotten a bit of a stick over the
yeah,
years. Actually, maybe that's why he gave us woke Terminator.
yeah. See, this is James Cameron drawing that. You can see that it is not Leonardo DiCaprio's hand. You can see it's a lot older.
But he's not actually really drawing her naked,
No,
is he? I mean, she's not there sitting exactly there, and he actually did draw her that way, or did he?
I don't know.
Hold on, so we'll go for a bit of trivia. So who? We'll just because if I write it in this way, it'll be better. Right. You're right. All the drawings are his.
Yeah,
He did. It is his hand. Well done.
My heart was pounding all the time. It was the most erotic moment of my entire life. Up until then, at least.
I used to think that was a bit kind of funny, that scene. The old woman coming in, and then what did you
Well,
do next? Did you do it?
See that drawing, that the sketch that he did.
Yeah,
It was sold for $16,000, but needed the identity of the person who
yeah,
bought it was revealed. But yeah, he drew all the sketches himself, every sketch that you see in the book. But that particular picture went for $16,000.
Wow.
I mean, why would anybody? I mean, okay, it's a bit of movie trivia, a bit history, I
Yeah.
suppose, but
I mean, nothing of that set survived. I mean, after the film that went out, and I mean, everything was dismantled, and you would expect everything to be kind of thrown in a skip or something like that. I mean, all of this was completely dismantled and destroyed, and I mean, only a kind of couple of things actually survived. And James Cameron he had donated the props, the wheel, and some other things to Titanic Belfast.
here's an interesting fact, right?
Yeah,
Because John Barrowman did the same thing, but yeah, he's being criticized for it and bashed for it. So the
yeah,
very first scene that Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet actually filmed was the nude scene, right?
yeah.
And to break the ice, Leo says she actually flashed them before the scene. She flashed them to get them prepared, right? So she basically said, "Look at me bits. There you go." Before they filmed the scene, so he wouldn't be embarrassed, right? Just like what John Barrowman did on the set of Torchwood when he was
Yeah.
doing a nude scene or a Doctor Who nude scene, and so nobody's ever criticised her for that. I'm just saying, it's double standards. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with if you want to break the. I mean, even with certain kissing scenes, actors and actresses have said they've put either onions or garlic in their mouth to trick the person that they're going to be kissing. You know what I mean? It's all part of the fucking industry. There's nothing sinister in it, but there's people out there that want to
Yeah.
look at it as sinister. Do you get what I'm saying? That's why I'm bringing
Yeah.
up all these scenes, because all these scenes now, John was right. He said it at the start of the movie. There's some scenes in this now that would be problematic today.
Yep.
And I mean, the sex scene coming up as well would be problematic today. But you can relate to the two characters, though, because you do believe that they fell in love with each other, and you do feel for them. You want to see them succeed, because she's in a life where she doesn't want to be, and he's met his dream woman, and he believes his life is going to be better now because he's on this ship of dreams that's bringing them to a better life.
Yeah.
It's tragic. It's sad. So they never knew each other when they did that scene, and then there was a bit of tension then as they were filming because the stresses of it. But they became friends after Titanic, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It was right after Titanic they became friends. So I'm glad they kind of sorted out their differences straight away. But they still holiday together. Even if he has a new girlfriend, right, and she's with her husband, they'll meet up. They will, and they'll holiday together and all. They do.
Yeah.
And I think they ended up in another movie together only recently, and they I'd love to see them in another movie again because she's a brilliant actress and he's fucking look. Tom Cruise right now is the actor, right? I love Tom Cruise, Anthony does. He might be a bit weird, but movie-wise, you could tell that he loves cinema, right? Because he wants to do it for fans. Leo's the same. But when Tom Cruise decides to retire, I know Leo's not getting any younger himself, but Leo is there. If he ever decides he just wants to do action movies, I think Leo would fit into that perfectly. He doesn't have to keep doing biopics and history movies. He could do a good, decent action movie because he's been in a few. So get him in a few more.
There was actual cars on the Titanic.
Yeah, I know.
I don't, and I don't think they have found it, or unless the car's completely disintegrated to nothing.
I say they have.
Yeah.
I say they have. But this was another scene as well that couples try to recreate in their own
Yeah.
cars. I mean, as I said, there's certain movies out there that will have a cultural impact on society, and it's funny. It's funny, some of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, we haven't even gotten to the iceberg yet, and it's still engaging, and that's good. I
Yeah.
say when people went into the cinema and they say, "Oh, 3 hours, Jesus, we're not going to be able." But watching this on the big screen, that's the one thing I've never done. And I tell you, if I ever see one of my cinemas, because cinemas are being smart now, they are.
Yeah.
Some of these movies now that are 4K and they've remastered them, they're showing them in the cinema again. I think that's a great idea. If I ever see this movie in a cinema, I'd go and watch it. I would
Yeah.
love to see this on the fucking big screen. I think it would be amazing. Here we go. Here we go, boys and girls.
Smell
Iceberg
ice
dead
candy.
ahead. Not yet. Obviously, the line's about to come up shortly. I just seen the
Yeah.
two lads on the crow's nest. But there was little things that went wrong. The binoculars not being were at Southampton because of a key, a missed fucking just fucking stupid things like that. And I mean,
Yeah. I
they
know.
do
It
say
quite
if they had
ruins it.
had the binoculars, they would have actually seen it, right?
Yeah.
Even though it was dead, they would have seen it, and they would have had enough time. They should have crashed straight into it, but the protocol at the time wasn't to crash straight into icebergs. It was to try and go around them, hard to starboard. But of course, I mean, Rose gets a lot of stick, but he did tell her to go and live her life. What was she going to do? She was still a young woman. I think people kind of don't assess the situation that she's in, right? It was still 1912 when this happened, right? So obviously she kept away from this lunatic, right? And she had to go into hiding. Yeah. Imagine what her life would have been. She would have having to try find someone to marry or fall in love with someone to marry them so she'd be secure and safe. That's how tragic.
See, he was going to rip up the drawing. See that?
Billy Zane's career. Do you know what? I'm kind of pissed I am because he's another good actor. And before Titanic, obviously he was hot. That's why he was in the movie because he was in a lot of movies. But since then, I don't think the quality of movie that he's been in has been great. Like, they're decent, but his career kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Yeah, and I remember he was in Critters.
No, for fuck's sake, yeah. Don't you ever do that to me again. Fucking you and your critters. Fuck's sake.
And so was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Fucking cheap knockoff of fucking Gremlins, for fuck's sake.
Well, there's nothing wrong with Gremlins. It's just the Critters.
That's what I said. The Critters is a cheap knockoff of Gremlins. I'm going to get off the ship with you, Jack. Jack, we're going to live together, even though it's not going to happen because, it was never... Listen, here's the thing. People have to realize that there was no way that this relationship was going to go anywhere, right? Because as soon as the ship... What was Rose and Jack going to do? Hide on the ship until her fiancé left? Because look at his reaction even when the ship is sinking. He can't let go. Here it is. And the most famous line of it all. Iceberg.
Pick up, you bastards.
Iceberg, right ahead. Iceberg, dead ahead, sir.
This scene, seriously, man, James Cameron gets a lot of credit here because everything that's happening here now is exactly what would have happened.
Yeah.
The panic. And you know why it failed? I'll tell you why it failed. It's because the rotor on it, the rudder
the
for a
rudder.
ship that size just wasn't big enough. So even if they did this, there was no way at the close where they were never going to go around it. They should have just, but as I said, it wasn't protocol. Reverse engines and then hard to starboard, right? But
Yeah.
with the rudder, as I said, it was never going to work. So they should have. Everybody says if it had to crash straight into it, it would have survived because it only would have fucked up the front of the ship. Oh man, hindsight! I tell you, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'd leave a little note. You're going to hit an iceberg. Crash straight into it. Look at the size of that monster, though.
Yeah.
His face, though, when he realised he's hit the iceberg, he knows they're fucked.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, this! Imagine watching this in the cinema. The tension. You know it's going to happen, but you're like watching it. Come on, you bastards, turn! Oh, they nearly made it and all. That's how close they were, folks. Look at how close they were. Bang. And what I like about this movie is that he did actually say it wasn't a big gash. It was little dots.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you had the plates overlapping and you had them riveted together.
But exactly where it hits is John, it's like a 1 in a million chance that it hits in the exact same spot where the fire happened and where they were using hand rivets, where they were hammering in the rivets with their hand. That's the thing. That's what's fucked up about a couple of inches higher. It wouldn't have done that damage.
And the rivets at the bow section, because they were substandard rivets, and the rest of them were probably
they couldn't they couldn't use the machines because the machines couldn't reach or something.
Couldn't get in, they couldn't reach in at these bits.
Ridiculous, man. Just little mistakes like that cost it. But they did the right thing straight away. Watertight doors down.
But the saddest thing is many of the engineers, they get actually trapped in the doors.
Yeah, some of the first people to die, we don't realise are the people in the boiler rooms.
Yeah. See, he gets stuck. See, his legs nearly get trapped.
Wow. Now, Captain Smith apparently was, it's alleged that he was in the bat when this happened. But some accounts say that he was actually asleep.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to believe, but most people go with a bat.
Yeah, some say that he was drunk as well on the...
Look, did he make mistakes? Probably yes, right? But if you look at the rules at the time, he didn't break any of the rules at the time.
Yeah.
But I think him and his crew have been used as scapegoats, to be quite honest. It's very easy to blame the captain.
It was very just a series of unfortunate events.
That's what I mean.
Unforeseen.
That's it.
It was going at the speed that it was directed to at the time, and
exactly.
It wasn't anything that it could have foreseen, because it was unforeseen circumstances. I mean, you're in a huge ocean. You don't expect any kind of object to kind of meet you. I mean, the chances and the odds of trying to meeting an object is going to be very slim. And none of them suspected that the ship would encounter an iceberg, and even if they did, they could probably easily turn away from it. And you see him slipping the diamond into his coat pocket.
Well, how did he not feel it? Because if his hand is in the coat pocket, he would have felt it.
But his hand was in his. You see, it's in his trouser pocket.
Oh, right. My mistake.
Yeah.
I always love that line from Billy Zane's character. Maybe he did it when you were putting your clothes back on, dear. It's like the burn. Oh.
So this is when they realise that Titanic's going to founder.
Apparently now there's a theory here, which I think is very plausible.
Yeah.
Because they show it kind of in the movie, but they don't, they don't dwell on it for too long. But apparently this is the moment where the captain went into some sort of denial, and he was going around like a zombie. Literally, this caught him by surprise. He never expected it. And this face here, then you see him go around.
Yeah.
See, he knows. He's already done the calculation in his head. So he knows unless they get help that most of these passengers are going to die. Then he goes into this sort of trance-like state, they say. Because you know the way we have professionals nowadays, and they can analyze people's brains and the pressure and the stresses that they're under. So they reckon, because a few passengers obviously had said that he was walking around in a zombie-like state. So they reckon that he actually took a breakdown on the ship, which is fucking sad. One of the most decorated sea captains at the time. Obviously he was on the Olympic when it crashed into the British what was the British warship's fault. But He was one of the most decorated captains, and he was going to be retiring after this. This was his grand trip to launch the largest ship in the world. And then he was going to retire after this. It's sad. I think he has been made a scapegoat. I'm not saying that he didn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
He probably did make mistakes. But the bigger issue here is that it was a flawed ship. The ship was on fire 7 days prior to its maiden voyage, and that fire was still raging up until the day of the voyage. They even say during the sea trials, the inspector that was on was not made aware that there was a fire in one of the boiler rooms. He was kept away from the boiler rooms. His job was just to see how the ship handled. It passed the tests, but that was even a rush job. So, and you've got to remember, the Olympic was in dry dock because it had been damaged a few months before. So they couldn't take another hit. So everything had to go perfect with Titanic. So they covered certain things up. The ship, if this was today, that ship would not have set sail.
Yeah.
Right? It was unsafe. So the flaws with the ship, the design, there was design flaws. Obviously, the bulkhead, they should have went right up, but they didn't because, that's the way they designed it. Hindsight is a fucking thing, but it didn't do anything. But the Britannic did have them all the way up, but it still sank. But then we've actually seen the wreck of that ship, and the most shocking thing about that is all the port windows are open.
Yeah.
And all of the fucking watertight doors were left open, and they should have been locked. So, because remember, after Titanic was hit by the torpedo, they would have had time to shut the watertight doors. So why didn't they shut the watertight doors? Because they said if they had it wasn't as damaged as Titanic. It would have survived. The Britannic went down quicker than Titanic did. Yet the Titanic had worse damage. But because of the fact they put the watertight doors down and they did use the pumps, they were able to buy a few more minutes. But the Britannic went down real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Thomas Andrews. Obviously, he wasn't the man that really designed Titanic, was erased from history, but is only being recently being brought back. But they sacked the original designer because he wouldn't go with everything that they wanted. So he was promoted.
Yeah. It was because Alexander Carlisle got into a disagreement with the Board of Trade because he wanted the extra lifeboats or something like that. And because of the changes that were made to Titanic, and they wanted this and that to be done to it.
And he wanted the rivets to be machined all the way, and they were cutting corners. He didn't like the fact that they were cutting corners. And fair play to him. He stood up and he lost his job for it. Now, I don't blame Thomas Andrews, because Thomas Andrews was obviously related to fucking your man that's money that was in on it as well. So, he was one of the designers on the ship with your man. So he obviously then your man Carlisle was erased from history, and Thomas Andrews is synonymous with the ship. But in fairness, he was on the ship and stuff, so I suppose rightly so. But there was a ship closer. There was actually several ships closer, but we'll get into that another time. But again, the captain of the Californian was made a scapegoat as well. There was a lot of scapegoating going on. See the captain there, he's in a bit of a trance.
Yeah.
And then when the woman comes up to him with the baby, he's even worse.
Yeah.
But apparently he couldn't make up his mind.
It was women and children first, not women and children only.
That was the thing. You're right, because that's been brought up over the years. He didn't necessarily mean that no men could get on the lifeboats. It was just
Yeah.
if you seen women and children, put them on first.
Yeah. And then it would be followed by the men. You
But all
see,
of this is
the
true.
problem with the Titanic is because there are many stories about it, many things that's want to glorify the tragedy in that, and
This
to
one
be
didn't.
heroic in that, and you know, there's
This movie
nothing
didn't. This
heroic about
movie
dying like that.
did it justice, didn't it? It didn't
Yeah,
try glamorize this. It showed the
no,
full horror. Like I mean, the fact that they're locking in, like
yeah,
that's mind-boggling to me. The fact that you know the ship is sinking as a crew, and you're trapping people deliberately because the higher class have to get in the boats first. It's just I will never comprehend it or understand it. To be quite honest with you, never, never. And the fact that they weren't even filling up the lifeboats as well is another mind-boggling thing. Like the ship is sinking, you
yeah.
morons.
And most of them just went back to their rooms because they could do nothing, and they went down with the ship when it sank. So it's sad there.
And again, there's controversy over the flares as well, because
Yeah.
apparently they were using the wrong flares or something.
They actually had different colours of flares because on the wreck site they discovered a box of them, and lying lying by the side, and the box was wide open. And you could see different colours associated with each different flare. So they did have coloured flares. So it's very questionable about the ship in the distance.
But that's not what they said.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then her mother realizes when she said that.
she made the right choice, though.
Yeah. And I wonder if the mother was broken-hearted at the loss of her daughter, or the loss of the fact that she was losing all that money.
No, I think when you see her then and she sees the ship going down, you see her face.
Yeah.
I think she does have a lot of regret.
Yeah.
Look, I don't like Rose's mother,
Yeah.
but she does, and she realizes there. I don't think it's because of the money. I think she
Yeah.
genuinely thinks she knows her daughter. There's a chance that her daughter's gonna die, and yeah, maybe in the back of her mind, if her daughter died, well, she would have got insurance money, so she would have been all right.
And there was another problem because passengers didn't want to leave the warmth of their rooms, because they didn't want to go into a lifeboat in the cold open ocean, and they didn't want to leave the ship because they thought that the ship was safe, and it wasn't as bad as they were saying. And
like, no matter what you say about Thomas Andrews
Yeah.
and some of the rich assholes on this ship, apparently they stood up when it counted, and they actually saved a lot of people. You know, like we kind of look upon the rich passengers and say, ah, well, they're rich and all. You know what I mean? But a lot of them did step up to the plate and
Yeah.
save passengers and give their life jackets to people because they knew they weren't going to get off the ship. Like Jacob Basker, he saved a lot of people and
Yeah.
got a lot of people on a lifeboat and ended up going down with the ship. So in I will say this: some of the first class did actually step up to the plate, you
Yeah.
know, and their reputations remained intact because of those moments. And then the stories of second and third class passengers as well. It's sad, man. Like, you're basically trapped in the middle of the ocean unless you get on a lifeboat.
Yeah.
It's like scary.
But even the lifeboats themselves weren't perfect. There was a couple of lifeboats that were flooding. That they were lucky enough to get to the Carpathia in time. Because even the lifeboats themselves weren't seaworthy. I think they were just there for a bit of decoration. Anything else? And I say Titanic here, the sinking here is not quite accurate because you can see the ship listing to one side, and you don't see the ship listing to one side in this film. But imagine that water would have been more freezing than it actually is in this, because this would be a heated tank, in which it would be just the right temperature for the actors. And then the scariest thing is the lights begin to fail a wee bit. Watch this. Did you see that? See when before she punched him? I mean, he had a bloody nose before she punched him.
Yeah.
I mean, that water would have been so freezing.
Yeah.
I mean, they would never really had a chance to go into that water and go through the decks and that and to rescue somebody. You can see that the ships having a torment inside. You can hear the groaning of the steel plates and all that, and
I mean, when she didn't hit the target that she was
yeah.
supposed to hit, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Mm. It's funny because he was talking to her about the cold water at the start of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. I like seeing the Titanic in this position and the boats rowing away from it.
Yeah. And the flares in the background.
Yeah. And imagine that ship was miles long. And imagine all those people, the pitch dark and all that, scrambling around trying to get into a lifeboat. Breaks through the door. For God's sake, there's women and children down here. Let us out so we can have a chance. I mean, that's the way they were probably treated, like animals and all that, locked up like that.
Fabrizio. It's
Yeah,
alright,
see
mate.
you
You're just going to get hit
say.
by a funnel.
Yeah.
The Irish fella just knocks him out. Tony. Get back, I tell you.
Or I'll shoot you all like dogs.
I mean that speech as well. I mean, what he was referring to. I mean, it's very of its time, and you see the officers are so reluctant to use the guns anyway.
I've got a business proposition for you. I know the ship is sinking, but I'm going to give you all of this money to let me on a lifeboat, even though, like, you're probably going to die and it's not going to mean anything. Your money is fucking useless here. We've got Holden in the chat and Unknown 289. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
And in this film, you don't see men dressing up as women to get onto lifeboats, like you do in the old the classic films. And Bruce Ismay seems to be helping passengers get onto lifeboats.
Yeah, he did help out. That's the
Yeah.
thing, right? Fair enough. He made mistakes as well, but he
Yeah.
did. He actually did save some passengers, and he did get passengers onto the
Yeah.
lifeboat. And then the side that he was on, there were no more people, so he seen a space and he took it. I mean, he
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have,
Yeah.
but he wants to live. The will to live is just. I get it. I think that's why he didn't pull him out. I think he got it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he's probably thinking, well, this asshole, let him go, because then he's the one that's going to have to fucking answer.
Yeah.
He didn't realize that the jacket that he was putting on her, the coat he was putting on her, had the diamond in it.
I put the diamond in the coat. I put the coat on her.
Jack knew here, though.
Yeah.
She can't do it.
No.
It is sad, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
You jump, I jump.
you know what? If she hadn't got back on the ship, he might have survived. He might
Yeah.
have found a way of getting off. And no, this is where he goes crazy now. I knew he
Pixie's
was
gun.
always going to grab the gun.
That looks really great. That you see when he's got the gun and that, and he just shoots that part of the staircase and it splits.
The fact that he was willing to murder them, or
Yeah.
murder him, Jack, anyway.
Desperate times calls for desperate measures. You run out.
I love the way his man, the gun just comes down to him.
What could possibly be funny? There would have been plenty of kids trapped in corridors and like that, and it was really horrific. I think they overdone it with the strobe lighting in this. I mean, it does look effective, an effective scene, but I think it was just overdone. But I think that what they wanted to do is they wanted to try and see that how
Yeah.
the electricity would be merging with the water, come in contact with the water. But I think it was totally overdone, and especially for a big movie like this. And I don't think it was really needed. And even when the water came through the grand staircase at the huge dome, and the water rushed through the dome. I mean, they put strobe lighting in that, and I mean, I really don't think that should have been necessary or should have been done. I mean, they filmed quite a lot of tricky scenes for Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet to do, and I don't think they like doing it.
No, they didn't. They also had guys in, obviously, fucking wetsuits and
Yeah.
oxygen tanks.
Yeah,
Even James Cameron himself, because he's the director, he would
yeah,
have been in the water as well. He didn't shy
yeah.
away from doing his bit either.
But they managed to get through it and that, and you know,
That's it.
it was the tank scenes. I think they didn't like doing it. I don't think that Kate did like the tank scenes. And then it was like when they were hanging off the back of the ship, and at that moment. Because I think there was a couple of people that were actually injured in the film and the making of this. But with the set that they did, they could film one section of the set and lower the one section of the set, and then they can do another filming for another section of the set, and then make it look as though it was sinking vertically. So they actually filmed in about 3 sections. Your money couldn't save you anymore, it can save me. Get back. Bastardo. Now that was the most controversial scene in the film that shocked the family in Dalbeattie in Scotland. That because of their, I think it was great grandfather William Murdoch, that they portrayed him in a bad way, and that I think that they went to the family at Dalbeattie and presented them with a. I think they weren't going to remove it from the film. They presented the family with a plate from the wreck.
Yeah, but also, you know,
Yeah,
I remember me mum and dad talking about that scene in particular, and me
yeah,
dad saying how shocking it was, but he could understand why they showed it because, he obviously when he did shoot and he killed that man,
yeah,
though he did feel because he killed himself, like so
yeah,
he obviously felt remorse
yeah.
and he was seen standing here at this clock beside the fireplace. Take me life jackets there now.
I see the glasses the glasses on the mantelpiece there. They were actually filled with a kind of gel or something like that, and they were pulled along with I think very thin, that very thin transparent wire, like fishing wire, and it was just pulled slowly as the room looked like it was tilting, and everything was made to look like the room was tilted.
This is a controversial saying now coming up.
Yeah,
Because then when they're in the lifeboats, They show the baby and the mother. Daniel says, I'm bad, lads. I think he meant to say I'm back.
Yeah.
But you are bad. Because I'm bad, you know it. I'm just like the scared in the dog there. Anyway, welcome, Daniel. Welcome. We got 5 people watching. Welcome.
So this is Captain Smith's end. He just goes into the wheelhouse and kind of shuts himself in. Nearer, my God, to thee. Nearer to thee. There's mixed survivors' testimony to what actually played at the last minute, because quite a few of them heard Autumn, the song Autumn, being played as the Titanic went down. And the Strousies are going down with it.
Yeah, they did go back to their bedroom. But this is the heartbreaking one. The mother telling the story about turning Og. And if anybody knows, if you're Irish or you're into Celtic stories, you know what turning Og is about. So this is very poignant, this scene. Shielding your kids from impending doom.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it except try and keep them calm. Reminds me of that video that I seen on YouTube of the sinking of is it a Japanese ship, and the kids are on board and they're even joking, oh, this is like Titanic. And there's actually video footage because they were posting it up online. They all went down with the ship. It's actually quite fucking eerie watching it because you know it's real.
Yeah.
See, this is a movie, yeah, it's very well done, but to actually see a sinking and see people trapped in a ship like those kids, those students, it's heartbreaking.
Dressed in our best and prepared to go down as gentlemen.
So, soon as that happens, you see the tone changes now. Music kicks in, and this is it now.
Yep.
So, just to remind you, there is a poll for the next movie. Just to tell you so far where we're going with it. So, The Martian was, the last time we checked, was in the lead. So, we've only got a few votes now at the moment, 9, but we only put it up a while ago. So, people will start voting on it. So far, Event Horizon is the movie that's winning with 44%. Apollo 13 second with 33%. The Martian with 22%. And nobody has actually voted for Sphere.
And there's the funnel collapsing.
See you, Fabrizio. Bye. You got your dream all right. The bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be me. That would be me, though. Yeah, do you want to walk a bit faster there, mate, please? Yeah, like the ship is sinking. Sorry, kids, but your time is up.
See, these are model shots. The corridors there with the water coming through there, model shots.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
This is what I live for this movie.
Yeah.
Right? Or any show that there's ever been made on it. It's always the sinking.
Yeah.
Because I'm always fascinated by how they did it. And up until this movie, I thought they'd done the sinkings pretty well, even though they weren't accurate. But this one
Yeah.
is decent.
The mother and the child there. I mean that's the start of it becoming heartbreaking. The fact that they're going to die like that. And the fact that people did that for real. You see, the CGI is beginning to fail there. I mean, it doesn't look very real. You can see with the hull, it looks a bit kind of fake looking.
See, look at her face.
Yeah.
She realizes now she's been like,
Yeah.
you know what? That's a big ass. I'm talking about the ship, by the way, folks.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I think this scene's a bit, the breaking's a bit naff because David Warner is just standing there and he's bloodied and that and holding on, and I think him being there kind of ruins that scene.
I agree with you to a certain extent, but I still do like the breakup, though.
Yeah, I do like the breakup myself.
It's as close as they got.
And I mean, they managed to do the most of the breakup even with a big, huge model as well.
I mean, could you imagine, right? You're in a lifeboat and
Yeah,
you're hearing the metal.
yeah,
It'd be terrifying.
yeah. And there was a YouTuber that made a point about this because it was so pitch dark. I mean, there was no moonlight. I mean, it was you just had a starscape, and that was just about it. And I mean, it's so brightly lit. The sinking here. I mean, the people that went down with the Titanic and they were on board until the very last minute, it would have been pitch dark and they couldn't see exactly in front of them what was happening. You can see the bollards as well, and you can see that they're made of foam. But with the small errors, see if you ignore them. I mean, this is a good film. Look at all those people swimming in that ocean in the
I
middle of
know.
the Atlantic. I think it's a part of the grand staircase, one of the walls of the grand staircase that she's on.
Right, we're nearly there, folks. Half an hour to go. But in fairness, it's flowing in. It's still bright
Yeah.
here. It's mad. It's still bright here. Ted is looking at me and saying, "Daddy, why are you watching Titanic like Daddy? Daddy, what the fuck is going on? Titanic is a chick flick." You're right, it is a chick flick, Ted, but it's a good chick flick. There's nothing wrong with chick flicks.
Yeah.
Some chick flicks are actually very good.
It's just James Cameron made it a chick flick.
Well, in fairness, it worked because it became
Yeah.
the biggest movie of all time at the time and won the most Oscars.
Yeah.
It beat Ben-Hur, so, you know, credit where credit is due. And Molly Brown did actually do this.
Yeah. See, they wanted to roll back to the survivors, but the problem is, if they did that, they would be swamped, and there'd be a chance of not saving anybody. And imagine it being so cold and freezing, even being in one of these wee boats anyway. If you don't shut that hole in your face. A few minutes later, it starts to get quiet.
You're going to have little babies. Not like this. You understand me? You're gonna have loads of babies, loads of them. You're gonna fly airplanes. You're gonna go on a horse. Ah, shut up, Jack. Just die already, will you? I'm only messing, Leo. But when she says, "I will never let go," and she lets you go, I think that was a bit of a dick move on her
Yeah.
behalf. She could have actually kept your body and like, you know, got them to rescue the body, because they got some of the bodies out of the ocean anyway.
Yeah.
But she let him go. Here we go.
But he
This
was
is the promise.
dead, and she could do nothing anyway. So
I promise, I'll have loads of babies. I mean, if he'd never put that line in, right, then
yeah,
we wouldn't be slagging the scene off. But I know what he meant. She didn't mean it literally, but we all take the piss out of that.
yeah,
No, but this is sad.
yeah. I mean, they're all frozen to death, and there's probably just a couple of them just still alive.
It's when it's when he sees the baby and the
Yeah.
mother. He actually.
Frozen to death.
There was criticism of some of the crew that they left it too long to go back because they were
Yeah.
afraid of the boat being sucked into the swell. But once the ship went down, they were actually okay. They should have went straight back.
Yeah, but
They could have probably saved a
they
lot
would have
more.
probably swamped them, and the point is nobody would have been saved.
There she is.
The mother and the baby. Anyway, there's a big debate that Jack could have got on that and survived, but
Yeah. As I said, though, he would literally have to have lying on top of her, she lie on top of him to keep the balance.
yeah,
But then the buoyancy of the thing wouldn't have been the same because you got the weight of two people actually on it. And when he did try to climb up on it, she
Yeah.
was falling off. So while there may have been room on it if it was on land and solid ground,
yeah,
she would never. Look, he wasn't getting on that either way.
no. I just wonder if there would be torches for 1912. You would think there would be lanterns. You know, like kind of oil lighted lanterns. I don't know if these torches are historically accurate that they've got. You see the hand torches they've got.
Yeah.
I don't think that's historically accurate.
I don't know. I think they had those the ones with the where you hold them up,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, like in the yeah. So I don't know, man. Don't know.
I think they couldn't have ever done this film without this kind of this kind of flashback to it
I
and that.
agree because it shows the emotion. See, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Because none of them gave a shit. They were all just about the diamond, but now they all give a shit because they realized how
yeah,
shitty it was.
yeah. The actress Gloria Stewart died when she was 100 years old.
Yeah. He's only looking for Rose because he wants the diamond back.
Yeah.
Doesn't give a shit about Rose.
It's good that she hides away from him. So he killed himself.
She made it. Good line. Aw. I just love the way it fades out into the blackness.
Yeah.
This movie's giving me chills right now.
Yeah, it does do that. But wait till you see the ending of it.
I know. I look. I know people criticize you, but I like the happy ending. I don't give a shit what anybody says, man. I do. There you go. He throws the El cigar out. He doesn't give a shit now.
Yeah.
Exactly. But this is the thing, and I don't blame him, right? His character, but how can you actually take that in? You know, it's very hard for us to comprehend it. Do you know what I mean? Even though it did happen, you can't imagine something like that happening. Do you know what I mean? It's very hard.
Yeah.
So, in fairness, you know, a lot of them do say now when they go down to the wreck, they do feel a sense of responsibility and stuff like that, and they leave their little plaques, and it is a surreal experience. But I'm glad that they actually do see the human side of it. You know,
Yeah.
like yeah, fascination with the ship is brilliant, but let's remember it's a graveyard. We must always respect the graveyard. But this, I was like, holy shit, she just threw it in the water.
Yeah.
But she did the right thing. The heart of the ocean belongs in the ocean. Oh my god, I'm getting all
Yeah.
getting all what's the word?
Emotional.
No, philosophical.
All right.
This is where but she never used that's the thing. How did she end up getting the life that she got? Because she ended up having a good life. Like, I mean, she
Yeah.
didn't use the
I don't know.
diamond. I was wondering, like, I mean, I can understand it because if she did, then obviously, you know, there was an insurance claim on it. They probably would have found the fucking thing, but I got the thing back off her. But how did she have the life that she had? That's a great scene, though.
Yeah. See, but this scene, you don't know if that old woman passed away. You know, when she's dreaming of the Titanic and it goes into
I
the
think
Titanic.
she did. I think she did. Hold on. I'll Google it and see what Google says. Did Rose die in her sleep in Titanic? All right, hold on, because they'll tell us. I think she did die. That's why she was able to see them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, she dies peacefully in her sleep.
Yeah.
There you go. So she threw the diamond and then she goes back to her room and she dies peacefully in her sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, so this scene makes sense now.
Yeah.
Because the best moment of our life, even though this all happened to the ship, was meeting Jack. Jesus, I am a bit of a sucker for romance sometimes. I have to be honest now. And there's nothing wrong with this scene. I love the way they pan around the whole ship, and
I
they're all
remember
in.
that made me cry when I first saw that scene. It was just the fact that you were seeing everybody that was on the ship.
Yeah, that died. I know.
Yeah.
There's oh man, and
Ah.
he's just waiting for her. And look at the clock is past 20 past 2. It's past it because the clock stopped dead on,
Yeah.
but it's moved. Yeah.
It's one great film, this. Or maybe James Cameron doesn't want to make a sequel to this one or another Titanic.
No, I don't know. No, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because, like, on one hand, you'd like to see another one, but at the same time, everybody, like, A Night to Remember is the definitive one. Everybody will agree with that. But this one, it had the emotional impact, and as I said, the cultural impact. And here's the bleeding song.
Well,
We
no,
might as well.
that song drives me nuts.
Well, it drove fucking Celine Dion mad. She stopped singing it for years, but now she appreciates it. I haven't heard it in years anyway, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great song. Let's be honest. It was number one all over the place.
Yeah,
Was,
and everywhere, and the day that 9/11 happened, and I was in a shop, and I could hear that music playing. And
it is a great song. I mean, I was just sick and tired of it back in the day because it was overplayed. Everywhere it was playing the fucking thing, but I haven't heard it in a few years now, so it's actually quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
Near, far. Here we go. Celine Dion, what a voice, though. Anyway, I like Celine Dion, so, like, you know. But anyway, yeah, while this song is playing in the background, as we've been talking through the movie, I don't think we need to do an actual review of it. So if you want to just give you a rating, and if there's anything that you would like to add, because it's coming up to, we're 3.5 hours coming up now. So we'll end it now because everybody's been here. But yeah, go on, give us your rating for this movie anyway.
I would give this film a 9 out of 10. I mean, it's not a perfect 10 out of 10. It's got its flaws in that, but for the amount of effort that's went into this film and the detail that's went into this film, it is a good film. It is a good, enjoyable film. I mean, you can watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Well, do you know what? I'm actually going to have to agree with John on this one as well. Is it perfect? No. Do I really like the romance in it? Not really, but because, you know, Leo and Kate are actually good actors and actresses, respectfully, and the characters aren't actually annoying, it works. It works. But yeah, not a perfect movie by all means. But look, it didn't become the phenomenon that it did, win as many Oscars as it did if it was a shit movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some movies throughout Oscar history that have probably won an Oscar that didn't deserve it. But this is definitely not one of them. But it was a strong year for movies that year. I think there was another movie that was favored to win, but Titanic just blew everybody away. So, yeah, 9 out of 10. I think that's fair. That's fair. And as I said, throughout the year, because they are releasing some stupid shit versions of Titanic movies, there's a new one called Titanic 666 where the ship, a replica, goes over the wreck site and some scary horror shit happens or something. I mean, even by the cover of it, it looks like it's cheesy and it's going to be the shittest thing ever. But maybe in a couple of weeks' time, we might do that one. Because you know, we'll have a laugh. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, we've watched the historical accurate ones. We've watched the James Cameron one. We also watched Race the Titanic. So we might as well watch some of these so-called fucking B movie Titanic ones and see if they're any fucking good. But imagine calling a movie Titanic 666.
I know, it's a bit
That's-
kind of naff.
It is naff, and it's going to be a naff film, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Right, so before we do go, I'll get Real Super Doctor to do his shout-outs, and then I'll just make a few announcements, and then we'll leave it at that. So without further ado, Real Super Doctor, your social media shout-outs, please.
I've got a Twitter account under Real Super Doctor, and I've got a YouTube channel under Real Super Doctor.
Fantastic. Right, if you want to head off, John, or you want to hang on, it's up to yourself, because I know you like
I'll
to
just
go.
head off because I get plenty of things to do.
Because I think, I kept you long enough anyway. But look, as
3 hours,
usual,
wow.
when we cover Titanic, you'll be the first person that I get in touch with. So as I said, when we do that next movie, I'll give you a bit of notice like we did, and we will get it going.
I think that it would be better if there was more people here. You know, not just the two of us, just somebody else. Somebody else that could be.
If there's anybody else interested out there, I will certainly see if I can get them on board. But I don't. But the whole idea of these ones is I kind of want to, because I'll be doing other movies as well. So I'm going to bring on a different guest each week, but just have the one guest so I can talk to you. Like, do you know what I mean? And you can talk as much as you bloody want. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, as I said, we'll see how the next. As I said, I've got a poll up now. I'll see what guests I can get on for that one, and we'll go from there. And then if people show interest in it and actually want to start coming on, then maybe we'll bring two people on. So grand, right. Anyway, you have a good one. Thanks for joining me, John, as usual.
No bother at all.
And I'll see you soon.
Right, I'll see you later.
Have a good one.
Right.
Right, folks, that's it really. But just before we go, don't forget membership is available. And now, if you are a member, you can gift a membership to one of your fellow subscribers in the chat. Remember, next week we have the RTD member streams. Also, we'll have a couple of more guests coming on for those member streams. As you know, New Who is back as well. So we got plenty of stuff coming up. Look out for that, and come and join us if you can. So I will leave it there. I'll say thank you to everybody in the chat that left a comment, and everybody that has watched tonight or popped in during the stream to give it a listen. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. And we will talk to you very soon. Have a good one. Enjoy our weekend. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. Because we're living in a crazy world right now. If you've all heard what happened last night, the former Japanese prime minister was assassinated. So we're living in a very, very, very screwed up world right now at the moment. So take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And I will talk to you very soon. Have a good one, folks. Good night.